So often, music teachers will say to me, but what about the littles? Well, today's guest answers that question. SJ shares how even the youngest of students can approach music with an inquiry mindset.
Welcome to Pass the Baton, Empowering Students in Music Education. Here, we amplify the voices of music teachers around the world who are passing the baton and creating environments where the music students are empowered. Together, we can help students transform from passive consumers to vibrant creatives.
Welcome back to the Pass the Baton podcast. I'm Kathryn Finch.
And I'm Theresa Hoover.
We had a great guest today, SJ. It was so nice to meet him, and he had so many good things to say about the littles.
I know. I feel like, we've been interacting with SJ on social media for a while now, probably over a year. So it was really neat to meet him in person and just hear him talk so passionately about what he's doing in the classroom. And like you said, the littles, I'll be honest, that's not my area of expertise. I mostly have taught older children instrumental and things like that. So when people talk about young children, I often I don't know.
Yeah.
But he
spoke so well and so real. And I just kind of got a glimpse of his classroom through how he talked. But also when you go to the in the midst of inquiry, and you can see a lot of his evidence there too of his what he does in his classroom. And it's so lovely to see.
Yeah, I agree. Well, before we get to today's interview, remember, you can find show notes in the podcast player or right below the video in YouTube. And that's where we'll also have links to SJ's materials. If you liked the interview today, which we know you're going to love it. So please consider showing Pass the Baton some love. You can subscribe, follow, and maybe even most important, leave a rating or review, because that's what really helps get this podcast to other people as well.
Yeah. And as a reminder, we do have the Buy Me a Coffee site. So for less than a cup of coffee, you can support us, which is just really helps with all the podcast fees, hosting fees, expenses that we have. And then we also would really love to have people go to our show notes and click on the speak pipe. There you can share something that's working in your classroom. We would love to hear from others. How are you passing the baton in your classroom? I mean, I think we're talking to SJ about why we do our podcast. Like, we get to learn and talk music to other people, and it's so powerful to hear what other people are trying and doing. And so please consider leaving us a speak pipe. All right, well, welcome back, everybody. We're glad you're with us. And today we have a special guest. I think we were talking about how I met you, SJ. It sounds like, I've met you virtually through Levi Allison is one of our connections here. And it's so nice that we got to connect. And so I wondered if maybe you could introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yes.
And I'm really glad that I'm on one Zoom screen. We three are here, and I'm speaking about myself and my experiences. That's really good. You both. Thank you so much. Yes. So a bit about myself. I was born in a musical family, and in the city of Bihar, which is in the eastern part of India, and brought up in the western part of India. That's Mumbai, in India again. So, like I said, I was born in a musical family, and the music was brought in my family from my father, as I mentioned, who is really no more now. But yes, that's how I started picking up on the music, and I did my master's with literature and vocal classical. This is the voice as a tool for me as a music educator. I use it with students, more than the instruments. I do few instruments as well, but more than the instruments, I use my voice as a tool and introduce myself in the classroom as well for students. As a teaching career, after 10 years of teaching in India, due to my well-wishers, my educators, my leader friends, I was motivated and encouraged to explore the new ways of international education, and that's how I tried. And so far, I can say recently I've come to Dubai, and it's the journey is really amazing, I would say. Yeah, and there's a lot to learn over here. Yes. I'm
Yeah.
working with the GEMS International School in Dubai right now as a music teacher for early years and primary years both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what age of students would that be? Like how old are the students that you work with right now?
Yeah, they would be like 3 to 5, 5 to 7. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
And
that's
I have a
wonderful.
daughter who's 6-year-old. She really inspired me to be with that age group. I have taken up this early years since last, I would say, 2 years. This is the third year, and I'm really enjoying. I feel this is more challenging, but they
Yeah.
keep you on your toes, and they keep you finding into something or the other. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't just relax.
No,
That's something really I enjoy.
that's great.
Oh, that's really neat. Well, and
And I
how
know.
oh, go ahead,
Go ahead.
Kathryn.
I was just going to say, I know so I called you SG, and I know that's how you like to be named, but could you tell us your full name?
Yes, surely. So my name is Satyajit Singh, given by my parents, and it's really special to me. But when I joined, since last 7 years, I had joined my previous school. More of the experiences will be coming from the previous school, because the new one which I have joined, it's just a few weeks, I would say a month.
Yeah.
So there, from students, I got this name. They broke it down from Satyajit. They took S from Satya and J from Jeet and made it SJ. So from then it's SJ. And my friends, my educator friends and leaders, they all call me, my friends, the students, they all call me by the name SJ. Yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, yeah, I would imagine that you've only been in your new school a couple weeks, so
Yeah.
that's exciting though. It's neat to hear people who are making different career changes, like to go to international teaching, and that's wonderful. Yeah.
True. That's true. Yeah.
So a lot of the work that we've seen that you do and that you share online has to do with inquiry in music education. And I think sometimes music educators are a little scared of that word inquiry. Can you maybe just tell us what is it? How would you describe inquiry and what that means?
That's very truly you said. Few of the educators, they fear what inquiry we do it in the music class, and with same mindset, I would say that I'm not completely different from them, my music educator friend. So I would say when I started teaching, it was what I know, my students, this is me, this is what I know, and here I'm going to teach you. It was never okay, what you want to understand, what you want to know. The moment I got that nick of it, that idea that to hold on, why students are not completely engaged, there is something missing. There is something which I want. I want. There's something not happening, which, the audience needs it over here. And that's the students. So that moment I started figuring it out, what is something lacking? So that's where I started discovering, I started finding it out, and that leads to my inquiry to come up with the conclusion that, okay, this is something, this is something really needs it, where students should be asked that this is what you want to learn, or they should be given some choices, and let them choose. And as a facilitator, you take that particular knowledge ahead with them. So inquiry, I would say, it's to finding it out and going a little deeper with that. It's providing choices to students. That's that which keeps them really engaged in the classroom. Yeah.
Yeah. I just love it too, that because you're talking about, didn't you say 6 and 7-year-olds too?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, I know that you've taught other ages as well, but a lot of people say, but even the littles can do that. And of course they can, right? They're so curious and they do know what they want. So
true. I was leading the department in my previous school, and I used to get these kind of questions as well, that what kind of inquiry you would do if you're doing it with KG1, KG2, who are 4 or 5 years old. But again, yeah, you can do it. You can set up the classroom in such a way that they come and they start looking at, the curiosity is in their eyes, that time.
Yeah.
And that's how, like as a teacher, you get it like, okay, this student is looking at this instrument, you want to touch or feel, and ask these kind of questions. So you build that kind of environment and the inquiry happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it when you get into that, like it feels it's so easy. It's so by default. But
Mhm.
to build that, it takes to build that understanding, firstly, I think it takes a little time. But when you're getting into that, 7 years ago, like I feel I have recorded my lessons where I see I'm standing and I have like many students sitting in front of me, and I'm like a preacher and speaking and going and showing and playing, or doing all this stuff. But at it gradually, I have seen like my after 3 years, 4 years videos, I'm nowhere in this video. For
Mhm.
appraisal, we used to video our lessons, right?
Yeah.
Like after 3 4 years, I am nowhere in the video. Like I sometimes think, do I was I teaching in this class? It's all about students. So that drastic change really brings happiness, joy to me in my teaching. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that picture and almost that question, like, am I really teaching if I'm not in the video?
Yeah.
Right? Because we think that teaching is us doing to the students.
Yeah.
But what you're describing is such a more meaningful experience because the students are the ones doing. They're the
Yeah.
ones thinking.
Yeah. I
And
always like to thank my leaders, for this, that the way the feedback I have received, the same thing, like I have transferred it to my students and it's really working well. So yeah,
nice. Yeah.
thanks to those leaders.
Yeah.
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 Do you feel like it was a shift for you when you grew up? Were your education was the teacher at the front, the teacher doing the doing? So that must.
I would here again talk about my father a bit,
Mhm.
because music I have learned from him. And when understood this IB philosophy and the way, it should be put up in front of students, and the way we as an educator or as a facilitator go to their level, and understand things where exactly they are, and
Mhm.
from there you bring them up. So this is what I can connect with my father. Like when he used to teach me music, it's okay. Like he would say, which is really, I am not happy with that, but he would really go to that level. Okay, this is where the problem is, focus on that point and work on that point. That's it. It's okay. You don't have to work for like longer hours or something. Just
Mhm.
focus on one point. When it's clear, go to the next step. So I really consider, I really correlate with that. Okay, this is what I have been trained as, as a musician from my father. So,
Yeah.
and this principle which I am following with my students is kind of somewhere matching up. So I really
Yeah.
feel that. Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe can you give us some more ideas of what, when you were saying you step back and you've taken video of the kids or you've watched the kids doing the things and you're not there. What does that look like in the classroom? Can you give us some examples?
Yes. So, it really, when I watch my video with my leaders or when I watch for myself, I really see that how students are really engaged, and what kind of steps I have already made and kept it in front of them. That's my job. That's my job, to create that curiosity within them, and how they are interpreting, how they are unpacking that particular
Mm.
concept or particular problem, kept in front of them. The way they go deeper and where they are getting stuck, to plan that kind of giving some solution, where they are getting stuck, and how to plan that kind of so that I can give some solutions to them, so that next time when students are going through that, they don't feel that they are completely stuck. So this is what really this really helps me to plan further when I watch those kind of videos, and the way they get engaged with that kind of whatever is being given in the classroom, to explore, whether it is musical instruments or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do. I think that's something I had to learn, and something that Teresa and I read about the book is the struggle that you want the kids to, I think it's fun to learn when, things are really engaging and exciting, but it's also fun when there's a little bit of a challenge, right? But not to the point where you're so frustrated that you want to just stop.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and
that's
I
true.
think I had to learn as a teacher, it's okay to let them have some challenge with the material, and then I have to know when to step in and, like you said, set up some
Yeah.
scaffolding for the next thing to help them overcome it, so they don't want to just throw it out and say they can't do it.
So, like one of the example life from the experience from the classroom, I've gave like to four counts to play the bongos, 1, 2, 3, 4, simple rhythm patterns, and the second station was 1, 2, 3, and 4, like ta ta ti ti ta, it
Mhm.
went. And when we came to back to the first station, that was 1, 2, 3, 4. It was simple ta 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 ta. Few of the students, when they came back to the first station, came back from the second station, they kept on saying 1, 2, 3, and 4. They couldn't say 1, 2, 3, 4, So they are doing something which is really complex, but coming back to the simpler version, 1, 2, 3, 4, they were not able to do. So understanding this kind of and studying this, like why this is happening, only for like, in the classroom, why this is happening, kind of. So this really helps me to research, go ahead and research, find out, and make some more resources so that, the child really gets back and forth with whatever is being given in the classroom. So these kind of experiences really makes me happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I notice how you're really focusing on, excuse me, the students who are there and what
Yeah.
those students need, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
thinking like, oh, well, last year when I did this, it's who's in my classroom right now, and what do I need to do to support those students? And I think that's such a thing that we forget sometimes. We want to assume that year after year, oh, the kids are the same. Kids are the
Mhm.
Yeah.
same, but not
In fact,
necessarily.
like year by year, it's like class by class because they come with a different mindset every day. If they're coming with a different mindset. Today, they
Right.
don't want to play drums. And that's where like your planned lesson goes for a toss. It's okay. It's okay. As far as it is working for students, be a teacher who like switch in like some with something else at that particular time. So yeah, it's year by year, definitely, but it's class by class, like, yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
really,
oh,
sorry,
go
go
no,
ahead.
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So I was just saying that, yeah, I do plan, since last now 10 years, there is a lot of planning, there's a lot of document sheets,
Oh yeah.
lesson plans kept, but I really want to look, kind of fresh planning according to the students. Uh, Involve students. Okay, what do you really want to? We have a set of curriculum set with our teachers meeting in the teachers meeting with our curriculum coordinators, but leaving that for a while, let's talk about what do you really want to
Mhm.
learn. What you guys want to do? You want to just play the beat? Do you want to play the egg shakers? Do you want to play the rhythm sticks or some other
Mhm.
instruments, and why? That's where like
Mhm.
maybe sometimes it's like 50-50 deal. Sometimes I bring them, okay, this is something which we have planned, is good for
Mhm.
you. By asking question, by
Right.
making it relevant for them, like they understand, okay, this is what is made, it's really working, it says yes, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and that's how we come to an agreement and we touch upon something. Or even as a teacher, like I'm okay to rework on that and take it to my curriculum coordinator. This is what my students want to learn, and this is how we want to go ahead. We need to be flexible for that, to bring
Yeah.
some change. And that's the process I really enjoy. I really don't feel since last 7 years that I'm going to do my work at my workplace. I'm going to be with my students and doing music, which is really, I have done a lot. It's every day I feel in the morning, oh, let's go, let's go and
Mhm.
meet these kids, that particular age group, and learn something new. It's really exciting.
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's really neat to hear you talk about that because you're bringing me back. We just released an episode, episode 53 with Shane Calhoun. And
Uh-huh.
according to Shane, the most important question we can ask is, what do you want to learn?
Yeah,
And that's
that's
exactly what
so
you just said.
thoughtful.
And what's neat is I think Shane was saying, for everybody, but a lot of his experience was with older students, high school, college students.
Yeah.
And that was what he was saying. But now you're telling us that same exact question works with the really young students and
Yeah.
is right? So it's so
Like,
neat to hear that come
sorry,
back
yeah.
again. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just not able to like control it. Like it doesn't have to be like with lots of dialogues with them because they are
Mhm.
too young.
Yeah.
But visuals and the classroom setups, your displays will speak aloud,
Yeah.
and they are good enough to locate things which they really want. It just
Yeah.
needs to be asked like that particular apt questions for them.
Yeah.
And the inquiry can happen with that age group as well. I like 100% say that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I love hearing you say is, you have plans, you have things, where you want them to go, but then also that stepping back and watching them with through videos or whatever it is. And I think Teresa and I've talked about this too. Like that's where you see kind of like you were saying with the rhythms, the holes in your teaching. Like,
Yeah.
oh, they don't, you learn from them where they're getting stuck. And it's like, oh, I thought we knew, we knew that, but we don't. And that's great information for the next class. Or,
Yeah.
and like you said, when you pull them in, like, no, we're going to do a whole group. This is something we all need. And then there's going to be other times that I can let them go. And I mean, I think I do that too, where sometimes I start a lesson and we're going to do it on drums or we're going to do it on something. And then I hear the kids want something different. And then I ask myself, like, do you care what media, right? Like what instrument they use? Do you really know? And if that makes a difference for them, why not?
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
honest. They're too honest.
yeah.
That's something really great about students. They are completely honest. So,
Yeah.
in that class, I had to tell my student, that particular student, listen, let's sleep over it. You have like weekend, go ahead. Don't worry. It's okay. Keep on saying 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's fine. At least you are in rhythm, you are playing instruments, sleep over it. And next week, when he came, he's still, he's saying 1, 2, 3, 4. He told me that he kept on practicing during the
Oh,
week.
yeah.
That's something so cool,
Yeah.
something student is taking, and because he felt that he's responsible for that, he was able to connect with what he wanted was happening in the classroom. He felt responsible, and that is what we here are here, to make them feel responsible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, right there, that's the student taking ownership. And that's what we
Mhm.
want. We want them to feel that this is something that's part of them and important to them. And even if it's just playing ta 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 ta
Yeah.
on the drum, that's still really valuable.
And I
Yeah.
love the I can confidence he had, or just that I am going to figure this out, and took it upon himself. That's amazing at 6 or 7,
Till the time they left the class, he was on, and one of his friend was saying, "No, you again said wrong. This is the way he did it." I told him it's okay. He's doing something. It's
Yeah.
fine. Let him
Yeah.
like go with that. It's fine.
But it is
So
like the joy of learning, right? Like,
joy is learning, and that's how they connect with you so well.
yes.
I think whenever he will pass on, he'll say hi to saying hello, Mr. HJ, good morning, and something like that. So this kind of incidents also makes it very good for you both, for the relationship, to develop that relationship. The moment I was telling him and the way he was responding to me, that became like very kind of noticeable for him. So it
Mhm.
is going to be there in his mind for long, and that's
Mhm.
how we develop the relationship as well. It really affects in like not in a negative way, in a positive way, I'm saying. It impacts positively, that we made kind of okay, whenever he feels that he's something not able to do it, I guess he trusts me and he will come to me saying that this is again I'm not getting, see, this is something.
Yeah.
So that's what I really trust. I really believe in the relationship with student, each and every student. And as a facilitator, I really need to understand, okay, this is how he works, this is how he works,
Mhm.
this is how she works. So yeah, I really focus on that a lot.
But I also love that the child was empowered to say, I'm not getting it. Like for someone, especially when they're that young, to know,
Yeah.
again, like Teresa's saying, take charge of your learning. Like, hold up there. I know I'm reflecting on myself and I know I'm not getting it, and that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the relationship piece is something that we hear over and over. And that's you're proving it again how important it is. Like it's not just something that people say. It makes a big difference if you can have those relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, true. It has happened like last week, I guess. And that makes you work a little more now. Why it is
Mm-hmm.
happening? As a facilitator, as
Yeah.
an educator, responsible one. Now, what are you going to provide him so that it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen? I
Yeah.
feel it's my role as well. It's my responsibility as well. So figuring it out again,
Yeah.
Yep.
So that each group is full of, will keep you on toes. You cannot go unplanned completely. Or sometimes you go planned, you have to become unplanned in front of them. What is their plan,
Yeah.
So this is
Right.
the part like I really enjoy with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine with your new school, it's been a lot of relationship building, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Like this look has played a very important role now. When I had come to school, I
Mhm.
was with like full complete hair, like as
Mhm.
normal would be. And in 2 weeks' time, like I had to completely look different.
Mhm.
So this is one of the way they have got making fun sometimes. That's fine, they're children,
Mhm.
but this has brought them closer to me.
Oh,
Mhm.
That
yeah.
really worked, that relationship. And I making fun of myself sometimes. It's okay. You're a teacher, sometimes actor, more of the time actor. In front of act fun of myself, something like I have kept over here, something, as a ritual, like we have to keep. It's a little long hair over here, just one or
Mhm.
two,
Yeah.
kind of. So they will come and talk, oh, why did you keep that small hair so long? Why
Yeah.
didn't you grow? Okay, then it's like I have to say it's something like personal. Can I just leave it
Yeah.
with myself? So this look has also really played in my school, where I am like more connected with my students, and they are really feel, coming and talking more about
Yeah.
my hair, at least talking to me. That's more than enough. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't want this to be the reason for this, but since it has happened, I'm saying that this is also really a small thing, really plays a big role when
Yeah.
you really work with this age group, because they are neutral, they are like honest, true,
Yes.
honest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and it connects the human element of you. You're not just a music teacher, you're a person.
Yeah.
And you do have a personal life, and you do have things that are important to you outside of the music classroom. And I think that's good for kids to see. What's the students assume that we sleep in our classrooms, that we live there. And you're helping to remind them that, no, I am a person, and I
Yeah.
I have all this. So that's a great way to connect.
Yeah.
That's really neat. So I think you told us a lot about the benefits for the students, which I think it's wonderful to hear. I guess if someone was listening and they're thinking like how to make some similar shifts and do some things like you've done, what could you recommend someone try tomorrow or next week in their classroom to kind of move in the direction that you've moved?
I really feel, again, students should be empowered, and they should be considered in every stage of planning, every stage of what do you think for them, for students. I know, like when we talk about school, when we talk about profession, it's all about students, then involve them.
Mm.
We say it, do that. Okay, so that's what I feel. That's the huge fun, that's the huge thinking goes on it, that whenever you are planning your curriculum, whenever you're planning any activity, whenever you're planning your field trips as well,
Mm.
just ask, make them feel that they are being asked, they are being heard, whatever they're saying. And that will make things very easy, because you are going to put in front of them what they like.
Mhm.
It's something not like what you like. So it's the big thing I would say to all the educators, though they are doing it, or if they are not, like, please involve them at every steps of planning whatever you are planning for them in school. Yeah, this is the really big thing. Yeah. Though it might not be easy, it might not be, I do understand, I coming from the same community, it's not easy, but as you can, as possible as it can, just involve them, and
Yeah.
do not go ahead with their age groups, that this age group cannot get involved, and put up, you need to make such kind of stage where they can also come and have their say. Yeah. So it's not about just older kids, it's about the younger kids also.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. So I'm currently working on a PhD in music education. And as part of my research, I've been looking at like diving kind of deeper into this whole empowerment idea. And one thing that I'm finding is that a lot of people have different it means different things to different people, the word empowerment. Some in social work, it means one thing. In like politics, it means something else. In education, something else. So my question is, what does the word empowerment mean to you as a music teacher?
Yeah. It's a good question. Student empowerment, they feel empowered, but they feel empowered when they get powers. And that power is like when they feel safe, when they feel safe, when they start trusting you. When they start trusting you, when you build that kind of relationship with students, that it's okay, even if they're not getting something, even if they're having some problems, they feel safe to come to you and talk about that. That's where, if that's happening in the classroom with you, I feel they are really empowered, because they are being heard. They are being heard. You are there to listen to them. So that's what I feel that student empowerment mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. It's neat listening to everyone talk, because everyone in music, I feel like, does say very similar things, and it just makes me smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, few of them say, okay, I am being heard. Okay, today I want to play that instrument. Today I want to play that instrument.
Mhm.
And that's where you ask, okay, I can give you that instrument. There is something planned. Why do you want to play that instrument? There is fun going on over here. So that's where they start thinking, oh, really? Why do I ask that? Why am I asking that? So making them feel, making them realize, that's really so that they understand themselves, their questions, their wants in the classroom, and they focus on what really is planned sometimes. So yeah, this is what I feel like whenever they it's something is really planned and they do ask, okay, it's going, I don't want to focus on that or something like that. There are few always in the classroom, and this question really helps to bring them back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, this has been really, really nice to get to meet you and talk to you. And I really do feel like when I have looked at your work online, I've learned so much about your classroom and your ideas. So anyways, I guess my question is, how can people connect with you? And please share some of the things you have out there, because people can really learn a lot from your classroom.
Definitely. So I would say, like, proudly, I can say that I'm everywhere. So, yes, I have I have a habit of like creating a community where teachers come together and discuss stuff. I did this, I think, again, 5 to 6 years back on Facebook. I have a community that's called PYP Single Subject Teachers. There are a lot of collaboration, a lot of help people, take and provide to each other. So that's one way, and Twitter is the best way, I guess. Twitter, like, I am on Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere in the midst of inquiry, because inquiry is a word which really brought my teaching, uh, in place, where I plan stuff according to my students. Not plan as per my knowledge. Definitely, I go ahead and dive deeper in that. Learn about that particular thing. But I really plan my lessons, what my students are really wanting to in the classroom. So everywhere you will see in the midst of inquiry on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And I am there with that community, PYP Single Subject, as well. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
I had started in the COVID time. I had started putting my classroom experiences in my blogs, though I have not written after like 5 or 6 blogs. But I am like thinking to start again that. So I'm there, like, I share my classroom experiences and what I do, what thinking routines I do, how I do. I try to put it up over there as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, we'll be sure to share all of those links, because I think they'd be really valuable to people who listen. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's so nice to meet you.
Yep. We really
I'm
appreciate your
really
time.
glad to talk my heart out, frankly. And it's definitely about the music as a music educator, but how like children should feel, with you as an educator in the classroom. That really matters a lot. And I think I have spoken a lot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing your dad with us too. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
If you liked today's episode, you will love the PassTheBatonBook.com website, where you can find free resources, coaching services, and how to support Pass the Baton. Speaking of support, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. Thanks again for listening.